So have you ever thought about not being fast enough in your game when you're playing badminton? So I'm actually here to help you. In this video I'll try to show you some different things that might help you in achieving your goal and getting faster. First I want to talk about what might delay us in the corners and especially around the middle on why it delays us and why we're not moving fast enough. And then I want to explain you how to move fast. I will bring in some examples. And lastly in the video I will show you a workout routine that you can do and apply at your home, so you can actually just do this routine and you might feel faster. So try to combine what I show you in the workout routine and the stuff I show you here around the corners and how you can get faster. Make sure to practice these things on court when playing some matches or doing some exercises. One of the first things why we might feel slow on the court is because we're not doing this split step. And what I mean by doing a split step, that's this movement. Many people call it a pre-jump or do like this, but we never have to do it. It's a waste of energy and time. So in comparison, if I want to move to that corner and afterwards to that corner without doing split steps, the movement will be like this. And I'm back to the middle. For example, if I now do exactly the same, just using split steps. And I'm back. I felt it a bit more easy and my flow was much better. What's happening is when I do this movement, I unload a lot of potential energy and I can use it when I touch the floor. If I want to get to the defense here without a split step, I just have to stretch out. But if I do the split step, I can do this much easier because I can push the direction I want. So if I want to go to that corner, I'm not able to push myself. It will be something like this. I just run down here, hit, and go forward again. Instead of me throwing right foot forward, so I can push like that. So important that we always start with the split step. And we need to do the split step exactly when our opponent hit the shuttle. So if I do a lift, I can see right now he hit. So I land just when he hits, so I can move in the direction that the shuttle comes. If I do it too early, I might land and then he hit and then I have to go to the corner. Makes no sense, so I need to time it so it will be like that. Or not too late, because if I do it too late, it will be something like this. Because the shuttle is already on the way. If we are to do it a bit late, it's because we're in the defense. So sometimes if I'm under pressure in the rear backhand, then I can do a later split step to go down and take it at the rear court with a defensive shot. That's alright. But either way, try to time it when your opponent hit the shot. So the first thing is about this split step. The other thing is what happens at the corners. Sometimes when we are at a corner, for example from the defense here, we tend to stand up. And it also happens down here, for example I do this, and I stand and watch. It makes absolutely no sense just to stand here and watch. We always have to go back. We land narrow in a beat like this. It makes absolutely no sense. But what I really want to show you, then I just really want to show what happens when I land down here that might slow us down. Is when we land, we get narrow. And this is basically what I mean. We land and stand like this. Makes no sense. We really have to all the time land with big distance between our legs, because then we can push forward. And if we can land differently on our legs, we can use the power we get from the jump to go forward. That means if I land with left, right, like this, I can get forward. And if I land right, left, I can get backward. And if I land on at the same time, it will be just create a movement that goes upward. So we need to do this left-right to get forward. And very important that we don't land too narrow. Yeah. And especially we're not able just to stand still. So we need to get forward when we are doing this. So for example, I want to show you this corner over here. I want to show you this corner here that we have 4 faces. Actually we have 5, but I'll tell you why. That we need to take care of. We need to take care of what happens in the first phase, that's around the center. We are doing the split step push with the right, with the left. Then we have the second phase, and that's the movement from the center to the rear cord. And here we also need to move with bigger steps between our legs, so it's like that. Then we have some movement happening around the corner where we're going to hit, and from here I'll do this scissor jump, land left, right, with still a great distance between our legs. Then we have the movement away from the corner, from here to the center, or to the front corner, or wherever I have to go. I still need to do this movement with bigger steps. So I will land, bigger steps, and here is what happens to many people. They reach the middle too fast. So for example, if I do a clear from here, there will be some time before my opponent hit the shuttle. So if I do a defensive clear, the movement will be much slower. Then I have to be ready and do the split step. If I do a defensive clear and do like this, I need to, I will still have to stand still and wait. And then I waste all the flow, all of the energy I just created to go here. So you really want the timing to be just right to when your opponent hit the shuttle. The next thing that might happen is that we are too far down in our legs, and if we are too far down, we're using our thighs, the biggest muscles on our body, and that is so exhausting. So if we're always down here trying to make it work and just keep on going, just really being low in gravity, we have to use so much energy just to keep ourselves alive. So sometimes when we are in the defense, we need to make sure to get up, get the rest, and do the split step again. If we keep on staying low, we'll develop these big muscles, or we have to activate the big muscles, and then we of course will have to do a lot of physical training to get our thighs big, because they need to be able to last this tremendous load that you're always in. So that's one of the things that you might pay attention to, that is that you get the rest. Now when we're talking about rest, then you also need to take the breaks that might happen when we're playing. So we don't rush into another rally before actually being ready to play. So instead of me going to this rear cord here and do this, do like this, and get ready to return the next one, maybe I should just relax a bit, and maybe I should take a break. So next time I'll do this unforced arrow like that. I just walk forward, take the shuttle, just maybe check it, then I hand it to my opponent on the other side. If you don't catch it or isn't near the shuttle, I take a break and get ready to play the next rally. So I keep the tempo down, I have the chance to actually catch my breath. Otherwise you will have this high intensity all the time, even though you don't have the shuttle or anything like that. You just rush around all of the time. It takes so much energy to do. And the next thing here is where it begins to get a bit tricky, is to stand tall. So if I hit downwards to my opponent, he'll have to hit it upwards. That's simple logic. But then I can actually think myself of stand a bit more up. Not like this. This is too narrow. I cannot push anywhere. But maybe something like this. From here I can push with my left foot and cover the net, something like that. Or I can quite easily go back if I want to do that. So being able to stand a bit more up when you have the offensive situation, might also help you because our explosive muscles, the calves, is our friend here, and they really can help us get fast run on the court. So if we are in a situation where it makes sense, we hit downward and we have the offensive situation, we can use our calves much easier just to stand tall and do some fast movement. We cannot be low here and come up and get low again. Come up. We really need to use our calves like this. And down here. It's the same. Basically the same movement. The one I just was a bit more ready on the toes and used the calf. The other one using my thighs. So the difference is using my thighs to now try to use my thighs most of the time to kill the shuttle. Low again, calves, and just stay low. Now I use the calves instead. Much easier and much faster, and it don't take so much energy. And of course, we might avoid trying to get injured. So I'm just gonna show you 5 different places on the court where you might get injured and how you can fix them. And after that, I'm going to show you a workout routine that you can do to get faster, and then you should go and practice this on a court. The first one is very normal and having a lot. It's when we are down here, do a scissor jump, and we land like this. Both our feet is pointing forward, and when that's happening and I have to run forward, I might snap this Achilles tendon, or this tendon that goes here, which might give me 8 months of recovery. It's very usual that we are under heavy pressure and we have to go down here, do it like that, and then we move forward afterwards. So in slow motion it will be like this, and then we go forward. That might lead to an injury. What we have to do instead is when we land with our foot at the back, in my case my left, slightly twist to the side. Then I can push forward with this area. And that's basically where the power is. It's not on the toes, or it would be nice if I was able to do that, because I would be able to push harder, or I might risk an injury. So instead I twist slightly, so I can push using just what's under my biggest toe. The next common footwork mistake that might lead to an injury is when we are going to the front corners. When we arrive at the front corner right here, our foot is not pointing towards the direction we're heading in. So that means in this case, I might snap the ankle like that. And that hurts a lot and can take a lot of recovery, depending on if you just twisted your ankle or you maybe broke your ankle. So, and the foot is always under heavy pressure because it has to catch all our energy when we're arriving at the corner. So instead of me coming like this and might snap my ankle, I'll have to make the foot point towards the direction I'm heading in. So in this case, it has to go that way. That means when I arrive here, the foot can actually catch my movement here, and I'll not twist anything. That is also a very common mistake, just to make this foot always point in the direction we're heading in. It's totally the same in the backhand corner. Just in the backhand corner, come like this. So also the same way and not like that. Always the same direction. And the third thing that also might lead to an injury is just when moving around on the court. We need to make small steps all the time to adjust in which direction we're heading in and with how much power and all of that. But sometimes these small steps tend to be huge, and that puts a lot of pressure on our knees, and that can sit in your knees and cause a lot of pain for a very long time. So instead of moving all around the court like jumping like that and moving forward like sounding like basically just like sounding like an elephant all the time. It put a lot of pressure, especially the ankle, the knee, the hip, and especially the knee and also your lower back. So if you have troubles in some of these areas already, make sure that you're not sounding like an elephant when moving around. Instead, try to be silent and still fast. So that means instead of doing this, going forward, I should try to make it more silent. So it'd be something like this. Much more silent. I'm not going to put so much pressure on the court. So also in the defense, sometimes when a people or a player does a lift, they go back here to do the split step and they do like this. And then they're ready in the defense. Instead of making the lift, go back and then just make this small step instead of doing this huge unnecessary jump. Also takes a lot of energy to jump all the time. So if you're exhausted, it might be because you're using your thighs a bit too much or jumping like I just showed you. And that actually brings me forward to the next thing I want to talk about. And that's sometimes that our footwork can ruin our hip or our lower back. We simply forget to move the feet before our body moves. That means if I have to go to that corner, I begin just to rotate here and then my feet comes after, or I will begin to go to that corner without using my feet, and that might use to a lot of unnecessary twists around this area. So instead, if I'm going to go to that corner, I need to start placing my right foot forward to push, so my feet is actually always the first thing moving. Sometimes, obviously, we have to react fast, and that's also sometimes in that cases where the injury happens. That's the small reaction movement that we have nothing in control. Maybe I suddenly have to block a shuttle over here, then I can feel it here. But if I had the time, I should block it like that, because then I can also control it, instead of just throwing my body around and might cause anything happening around my lower back. I have had a lot of issues and problems with my lower back, and I had the tendency to block much like that and did forget sometimes to move the feet first. So that means if I had to go to this forehand corner, I'll do like this, twisting my whole body around instead of just moving the feet first. It would be much easier for me to go. Then the last thing I want to talk about getting this injury is when we are at the forehand corner or we're at the front corner. And then when we reach the shuttle, our knee gets over the foot. So that means right now I am solid. I put half my weight on the ankle, but right now my weight is transferred to the front of my knee, and I might risk an injury in my knee. So that means when I'm going to this corner, I should try to stay down like that and keep my foot in front of the knee and do the shot and go back. I should not do like this, taking this bit smaller step, then go over here and lose my balance. Because if I do like this, I can feel it in my knee right away. That's also a very common injury if your mobility isn't the best. So that's 5 common mistakes that might lead to an injury, and also how you can prevent them. What is important for me to say is you have to be patient to make this system work for you. In the beginning, when doing all of this, you need to implement some new technique, and you need to start this workout routine. So if this is your current state, this is your current level, you might feel that you're getting better. And that's exactly what's the point here. But then your muscles and energy will begin to lower, your muscles might begin to hurt, and you have to implement new technique. And at this point, the first peak, you'll actually begin to get a bit worse at badminton compared to your opponents, because you need to adjust some things, maybe the workout routine or new technique. So you'll begin to get a bit worse, but then you'll actually find a way where you can manage the new workload that's happening, and the techniques that you're in is actually improved. And then you'll begin to get better again. So it might look over 12 period of time that you go a bit up, a bit down, and then much more up in the end, because you change things and your body can endure the workload that's happening. So just be patient. It's not something that just happens overnight. It actually takes some time. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and if you want me to analyze your technique or anything like that, check out on shuttle.com. Maybe some of the virtual coaching products might suit you. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching.